We can't go over it. We can't go under it. We have to go through it. That phrase from the children's book, We're Going on a Bear Hunt, is one of the most profound truths about healing from trauma or any difficult time, because our tendency is to want to kind of suck things down and move on through and past it so that we don't have to deal with the painful parts. And in fact, the number 2 symptom for PTSD listed in the DSM-5 is an avoidance of reminders of the trauma. So that could be avoiding certain topics, thinking about certain things, certain people, certain places, so that we don't have to be reminded and don't have to deal with it, because we're afraid of how we're going to respond and what that's going to do to us. And in fact, what happens over time is it starts keeping us stuck. One morning when I was in graduate school, I was 2 months into my graduate school program. I think I had 3 friends. And I went home and had my regular evening with my husband and children. But the next day, that next morning, was anything but the typical morning. When I woke up, my husband was laying next to me and he'd passed away. I was in a complete panic and completely confused about how this could happen. I'm only 25, I kept saying on repeat, because somehow if the universe understood I'm only 25, maybe this wouldn't be happening. I'm not 75. And then I just went next door. I knocked on the door of my neighbor's house, ended up calling one of my 3 friends who came over. And as she was there, she saw how distressed I was. She knew what had just happened. And she said, "Lily, we have to go back into the house." And I said, "Really?" Because I was terrified. I didn't want to go back into the house. I didn't want to ever see that house again. She said, "Yeah, we got to go back in." Well, since I didn't know any better, I just followed her. We went in. She said, "We have to go back in the bedroom." Same thing. I was terrified, but I went back into the bedroom. And she said, "We have to change the sheets on the bed." As I changed the sheets, I screamed and yelled and pounded my fists on the bed and yelled at him for dying, yelled at the situation, sobbed, and moved through my initial wave of pain and horror. I was having to do things on that day at 25 years old, like call my mother-in-law and let her know that her son had died. It was horrifying. And yet, the thing that helped me the most was the person who brought me step by step into the most terrifying parts of it and helped me to start reclaiming my life. Our tendency, like I said, it's to avoid. But the way to healing is through. So I came up with an acronym, FORWARD, to give you a semblance of how to take steps in circumstances like that. F is face it. Remember, it was terrifying to me. I didn't want to go back into the house, but I took the guidance and I did it, and it changed everything. O is open yourself up. You can't do this alone. You have to be open to the supports, services, people that you can trust around you that can help guide you through the process. R is reflect. Reflect on what you're feeling, what you need, and where you feel stuck so that you know what you need to address. And then welcome the process, even when it feels unbearable. Like I did, I leaned into it to move through it, and you can do that too. Be open to trying therapeutic approaches that sound helpful to you and let people in. And then attune to yourself. What your body and mind are telling you about something, whether something's helpful or not helpful, it's usually pretty spot on, and you can trust that. So if you're doing a therapeutic approach and it's increasing your triggers and increasing your anxiety and flashbacks and all of these negative symptoms, it may be because there's a different approach you need to do to address what's going on. And redefine the path when that happens. There's no perfect way to heal. Triggers and setbacks, they're going to happen, but you can use them as information to make adjustments to move forward into healing. Learning to reconnect with yourself can be the first step. It may not be directly addressing that trauma content, but maybe starting to come back into your body and starting to feel safe there. And then D is discover healing. This isn't about erasing the past. It's not meaning that you're not going to go through a grief process or go through difficult stuffs or have triggers or have difficulties. It means that you can step into more peace, resilience, and self-compassion as you take care of yourself and you find more healing and hope. So if you want more information about trauma approaches or the healing process or symptoms of trauma, go to www.resolvedtorise.com. You can download my Resolve to Rise companion guide. It'll take you through step-by-step process with clear symptoms that you can see which ones you're having, which ones you're not. Or keep watching my videos because they're, for the most part, all on that topic. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section or shoot me an email through my website.